Let me ask you a question. Who makes capitalism work? Now maybe you're saying to yourself, John Paul, everybody makes capitalism work. Like Shu Lin, the cashier at CVS who neatly folds those receipts that look like the Christmas list of a psychotic child. Or Jorge, the financial planner who explained to you that Powerball tickets are not part of a sound investment portfolio. Or even Big Tony, who put the Knight Rider tinting in your Ford Festiva at his luxury tattoo parlor and auto salon. Pretty sweet, huh? You might say all these people make capitalism work, doing their jobs, exchanging goods and services, you, me, everyone. But do you really believe that? Do we all make capitalism work, or is there a group of people who are essential, who really make capitalism work? The Henry Fords of the world, the Bill Gateses, maybe Steve Jobs. If you think these are the people who make capitalism work, you're not alone. In fact, you're a lot like this woman, Ayn Rand. Rand was one of the most famous public intellectuals of the 20th century. She was a ubiquitous media presence, selling millions of books and acting as an evangelist for her vision of free markets and individual liberty. Ayn Rand's most important book is this one, Atlas Shrugged, a 1,000-page novel that is an extended parable for Rand's worldview. It's almost like the Bible for her followers, if that is, the Bible described a world without God, and Jesus threw the moneylenders into the temple. In Atlas Shrugged, a small band of inventors, industrial magnates, and successful entrepreneurs get fed up with the government's attempts to control their affairs and manage the economy. The group decides to go on strike, withholding their brains and best efforts from the rest of American society, retreating instead to a hidden valley in the Colorado Rockies. When these high-profile individuals go into hiding, the American economy crumbles, just falls apart, and nobody knows what to do. Luckily for them, John Galt, the hero of Atlas Shrugged, is there to explain what happened. He commandeers a radio station, this is the 1950s, and gives an address to the nation explaining everything that's wrong with American society. The success of capitalism and the fate of society depends on a small group of people with nearly superhuman abilities. With their vision, their creativity, and their extraordinary intelligence, they propel society forward, coming up with the world-changing ideas and revolutionary products that lift society, as Rand says, even higher, and the rest of us with it. This is the creator vision of capitalism, a word Rand often uses to describe this extraordinary group of people. In this vision, the success of capitalism relies on a tiny class of creators, again, the Steve Jobses and the Henry Fords of the world. Without them, the economy would just sputter along. Maybe it would even fall apart. This way of talking about the economy, as if there is a tiny group of people who keep the wheels of capitalism turning, is pretty familiar to us today. But it might have come as a surprise to this man, the Nobel Prize-winning economist Milton Friedman. In his famous television series, Free to Choose, Friedman drew the attention of his viewers to this, the number 2 pencil. There's not a single person in the world who could make this pencil, Friedman told his viewers. Instead, it takes an almost unfathomable group of people making their individual contributions. Say, for example, the miners who dig for the graphite, or the farmers who cultivate the rubber trees, and the loggers who cut them down. Then there are the cargo ships, and the crews who bring the raw materials from port to port, and the dockhands who retrieve the crates, and the truckers who bring them to the factory. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil, Friedman told his viewers. So when you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of all those thousands of people. This is the cooperative vision of capitalism. And it differs from the creator vision in 2 significant ways. The cooperative vision underscores the division of labor in capitalism, and within this, the ability of people to work together toward a common end. By contrast, the creator vision doesn't emphasize all of the different actors involved in any commercial task. It takes human cooperation for granted, as if getting along is something we can expect from a species whose behavior throughout history more often resembles Game of Thrones than an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. The second difference is that, unlike the creator vision of capitalism, in the cooperative vision, no one person or any small group of people is really that important to the economy. And certainly no one is critical. We're all just working together, exchanging goods and services, producing things at once as simple and essential as the number 2 pencil. These two visions of capitalism, the creator vision and the cooperative vision, are two ways of answering the question, who makes capitalism work? And the answer you give is important because it will likely shape who you think deserves the lion's share of the credit for economic development. Because Ayn Rand believed the creator class was critical to commercial growth, she also believed that this group was absolutely deserving of a disproportionate amount of the spoils. On the other hand, for those who adhere to the cooperative vision of capitalism, we are all essential to keeping the wheels of commerce turning, from the designer of the Model T to the man who dropped in the engine. And therefore, whether it is power, prestige, honor, or money, it is much harder to justify, morally at least, extreme examples of inequality. So, who do you think makes capitalism work? It's a good question, and much like the Knight Rider tinting in your Ford Festiva, one you shouldn't take lightly.